It's now 24 days to the commencement of a new 4-year tenure of the 16th President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the countdown is on. Thank you for joining us on the program. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. You can join the conversation online if you use the hashtag Inauguration Day. Now, President-elect Bola Tinubu has returned to Abuja after commissioning some projects in Rivers State, making it his first official visit to Rivers or of any kind after his victory at the poll on February 25th. A lot has been said about, the peace deal he seemed to have brokered between some political stakeholders in that part of the country. There's also certain statements in the area of indebtedness and expectation from those who had worked for him during the election. He cleared the air to insist that he is president-elect. There is nothing he can do where it comes to decision-making for now, until May 29 when he is inaugurated as president. But let's talk to correspondent Femi Akonde, who is in Abuja, for more updates on the president-elect's itinerary. It's been a busy couple of days for President-elect Bola Tinubu. Femi, what's the update with his itinerary as we speak?
Yes, indeed, Nifemi. He returns to Abuja after the 2-day visit to Port Harcourt, where he inaugurated some projects of Governor Wike. And today he was at the Defense House briefly, just spent a couple of minutes there, had some meetings and all of that before he left to pray, and then back to his residence where he continues to receive visitors and dignitaries from all walks of life. Also holding meetings with people who will be forming a key part of his cabinet as soon as the administration is sworn in on the 29th of May. We know that he has been strategizing and consulting ahead of forming his administration as soon as he's sworn in. So it's been a busy few days for the president-elect, Nifemi.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some of the highlights from his visit to Rivers State. Some would say beyond commissioning projects, there were a lot of political statements that were made, especially when you remember when one of the senators, looking forward to become Senate president, stood up to make a speech, and quite a number of senators-elect also stood behind him. What kind of body language did we read, and what do you think happened there?
Yes, and if the visit to Rivers has been making headlines. What the president-elect said, how he said it, the implications or meaning of what he said. People have been making different interpretations out of all what the president-elect did in Rivers State. And the contest for the position of President of Senate has become really intense. A lot of those interested in occupying that seat have been lobbying the president-elect. We have also seen them on the corridors of the presidential villa in Aso Rock to see President Muhammadu Buhari. They have been holding closed-door meetings with some top members of the party. Some of them have also even been consulting and lobbying the outgoing president of the Senate, the president of the 9th Senate, Senator Ahmed Lawan. So, the senators are also making use of any platform. They're also leveraging it on any platform to show the kind of support they enjoy from the lawmakers, because whoever will become the president of the Senate will have to be popular first among his colleagues. And that would also indeed help that candidate when the party finally decides how the position of president of the Senate should be zoned. So, Godswill Akpabio coming out to give a remark, and that strong showing of senators coming to line up behind him also goes a long way to say the kind of support he enjoys. But in politics, you never can say the political situation in Nigeria is a very dynamic. Things can change at any time. Everyone is waiting for the president-elect and indeed the party, the All Progressives Congress, to point lawmakers in the direction they should go. We do not know if indeed Godswill Akpabio has the blessings of the president-elect or the party, but we also know that the president-elect has been reluctant in making public statements or kind of endorsing any particular candidate. He said all he wants is just deepen democracy, have a national assembly that would complement the role of the executive and also give a legislative backing to some of the policies, plans, and programs that his administration intends to introduce, if any.
Things happen in quick succession in Nigerian politics. The video is showing the senators leaving where Godsluck Pabio was making a speech to all shake hands with the president-elect. After that dinner, we also saw him introduce some of them to the president-elect in person. I just want to take you back to 2015 and the body language of the outgoing president, Muhammadu Buhari, who seemed to have said he would work with anyone who emerges winner at the National Assembly. We saw how that played out in his first tenure. What should we expect when APC makes this decision as to where it's zoning the principal offices in the National Assembly? Is this something that will be made public?
Well, it might not be made exactly public, but of course, whatever the position of the party is, will still filter to the public. We'll hear it from lawmakers because they will hear the whispers go around political circles. But, even if they cannot on their own take that decision, we expect that they would also meet with President Muhammad Buhari when he returns to the country. He would also not try to impose, but he would also guide the party through that process, because the pitfall they are trying to avoid is what happened in 2015. Like you rightly pointed out, President Muhammad Buhari was not particularly interested in who becomes the president of the Senate and who leads the National Assembly, and indeed it was also a heavy price for him to pay, because he had that rancorous relationship with the legislative arm of government. In some cases, he even had to reject some of the bills sent from the National Assembly for presidential assent. He had to throw some of those bills out, and he also didn't have a smooth sail with the National Assembly with some of his requests and bills and all of that. So moving forward, the APC has identified that as a pitfall that also they would slow down, because President Muhammad Buhari at that time used to say that one of the reasons why he could not deliver on some promises made was because of the kind of relationship he had with the National Assembly, that they were not quite supportive. So they expect that moving forward, all of those landmines will be cleared for the incoming administration of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu.
We don't expect a 10th Assembly that will be a rubber stamp to the executive, but from what we've learned in the past 8 years, you will need a measure of support within the National Assembly to have your policies and your views passed in time. And, many would say that Asiwaju has learned, and being a politician himself, he might be more involved this time, unlike the outgoing president. But what do you make of the warm handshake between Magnus Abe and the Rivers State governor? Are you optimistic that that's some sort of mending politically in that kind of relationship?
Yes, we actually, even during the campaigns, the two men, Magnus Abe and Wike, have had that mutual respect for each other, and they have demonstrated it even during campaigns. Wike restrained from calling out Magnus Abe, and likewise, Magnus Abe too. He didn't really call out Wike during his campaign. It was when the heat became really tough, especially when it got to a few days to the election, when the political atmosphere became really charged. That was when the two men went all out and to some extent threw caution to the wind in terms of exchange and the usual quarrels between politicians and political parties. But, with Asiwaju in the picture, the two men supported Asiwaju Bola Tinubu's presidential ambition. Magnus Abe was also in the All Progressives Congress. He fell out with the party at the state level. That's why he moved to the Social Democratic Party, where he picked the governorship ticket and ran in that election, which, of course, he lost to the candidate of the People's Democratic Party. So himself and Wike have been allies, but, fell out due to political differences. And the middle ground they have between them is Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. So it was easy for Asiwaju to be that glue between Magnus Abe and his political camp, and also Wike and the strong political force he controls there in Rivers State. So we expect that, we expect to see the manifestation of all of these political sportsmanship on the part of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu in the coming days.
Absolutely.
During the campaign, how he played a role in uniting factions who had their differences.
I agree. Interesting days ahead, particularly as we begin to look out for how long this inter-party relationship would last. Senior correspondent Femi Akonde live for us in Abuja. Good to hear from you.